Recently, I took a trip to Barranquilla, and so in this video, I'm going to share with you my first impressions and also just give you a few things and tips to keep in mind if you plan on visiting this city. So let me start off when you first get to Barranquilla. When you arrive at the airport and you get to baggage claim, there's going to be a booth, and this is where you can go ahead and reserve a taxi. They're going to have the prices already listed on the wall, like the neighborhoods and how much it costs to get to those neighborhoods. You don't have to give them name, show passport or nothing like that. You just tell them the neighborhood you're going to. They're going to give you a slip. You take this slip and you walk outside where all the taxis are, and there should be somebody there regulating who can get you a taxi. You hand the driver the slip, you give them your address, and then they're going to take you to your final destination. The area I stayed at was called Alto Prado, which I'll get into in a second, but from the airport was around, I got there during the day, so there was traffic. It was around maybe 35-40 minutes, and the whole ride was 30,000 pesos, which is like $8 to $9. So that's the cheapest airport taxi ride I ever been on. $8 to $9 for 40 minutes. So I had to tip, but just know it's very affordable, and I like it because you don't gotta walk outside with your bags and worry about all the hustlers and taxi drivers trying to give you a ride. So this brings me to my next point, which is the neighborhood I stayed at. Again, Alto Prado. This neighborhood was recommended, and it's very beautiful. I think it's one of the nicer areas in the city. And you already know, nice restaurants, supermarkets, cafes, all that good stuff. I felt safe walking there, no problems whatsoever. If I was recommending a neighborhood to a friend, I would recommend Alto Prado. Also, I want to point out, when you're booking your accommodations, make sure that the place has AC. And not only just AC, but AC in every room. That fan stuff, like if you've been living in Medellin and you've been having a fan or whatever, that's not gonna fly in Barranquilla. All right, so let's get into this one. I usually start off with the weather, but I want to save it for later because I didn't want to make any, people from Barranquilla, I didn't want to get them upset early. But the one thing that altered my trip was, again, it was the weather. It is so, not only is it hot, but it's so humid. It's crazy. I had so many plans ready for Barranquilla, but one, I didn't want to leave the house, and then two, I would try to film, but my camera kept overheating, which is why, the footage I have looks like this. It's a Sunday, nobody's really out. And I told myself, man, Sly, you have to get some footage of the city. So I forced myself out of bed. And one thing you have to keep in mind is that it's wintertime right now, it's December. And people were telling me this is not even the hottest, come during the summertime, it's even hotter than this. I'm like, nah, no thanks. So that was one thing, the weather. And last but not least, we have probably, I probably should have known this because I was warned about this a long time ago. When I first touched down, I was like, these are the baddest chicks in Colombia. But I'm gonna rephrase that. All right, I'm gonna say they're the most exotic women I've seen in Colombia. When I first got to Medellin, I met a girl from the coast, and she even told me, she was like, some of the most beautiful girls in Colombia you're gonna see in the coast. And I thought she was saying that, because she's from there. I was like, okay, you're just being biased. But she was telling me that up there they have a lot of Arabic and Turkish blood. Barranquilla, the first gate or the first port in Colombia was opened in Barranquilla, called the Golden Gate or something like that. And so back in the day, they had a lot of Turks that traveled to Colombia, and obviously, they went through Barranquilla. So in that area, pretty much, I think the whole coastal region, there's a large influence of that, and you can see it. Especially when you're walking out, there's tons of Arabic restaurants, or I don't know the politically correct way to say it, but there's tons of restaurants like that. And then again, in the people, you see it, facial features, and usually the women from the coast are a little bit taller on average. I'm not saying they're 6'4" or anything, but they're just a little bit taller on average than the other ones I've seen. But definitely some really, they got them out there in Barranquilla. With that being said, that's the video. Not really much else I can say because I didn't get out that much. I'll definitely be in Barranquilla again, and I'll be prepared. I wasn't ready. I was coming from Bogota, which the weather was cold. Then I went to Bucaramanga, which the weather was very amazing. And then bam, I got to Barranquilla and got hit with a heat wave. So I wasn't ready for that. But I'll definitely be there again to check it out. But that's the end of the video. I hope this helped you. And I'll catch you guys at the next one. Deuces.